Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, crypto traders, investors, and hodlers of cryptocurrency. Welcome to Crypto Traders Room. Last frontier in keeping it real with honesty and integrity. And if you haven't done so already and you're a new-time viewer, welcome. Glad you found us. It's a pleasure to have you. And don't forget to click on that subscribe button, as well as the post notification. And stay connected with us on Steam, Twitter, as well as Facebook. Let's see who we got in the room today. Oni, what is up, buddy? Hope all is well. Bitcoin Buddha, yo. SkyTech from Cali, welcome. Hopefully it's warmer in Cali than it is where I'm at. Actually, we got our first slush. I wouldn't call it a snowfall. It was more slushy. It was wet. It was disgusting. But I'm probably going to be muting this microphone a good amount of time because I am having a coughing fit, and I don't want to be coughing on the microphone. So if I do mute the microphone and I forget to unmute it, please let me know, especially if my cursor is moving around the screen, because the last thing I want to do is stay muted and you guys aren't able to hear what I'm talking about. SE, what is up, buddy? Yeah, dude, Oni, I don't know, man. This has been a crazy funk. I call it the international mutated New York City funk. But, feeling a little better. Actually, I should say feeling a lot better, but not 100% yet. Late at night, man, it's bad. I'm up coughing for like 3 hours, in the middle of the night, waking up my kids and my wife. And it kind of sucks. Every time I lay down, it's a coughing fit that I'm having. But welcome to everybody that is joining. I do appreciate you guys joining. Hyperflu, I don't know, man. It's a crazy mutated international funk. That's all I could say about it. There's a lot of people at the Blockchain Economic Forum from all over the world. And they all brought something and had it mutate into one place, and I ended up catching the mutated version of everything that they had. So yeah, but what can you do? It's part of life, I guess. Just got to deal with it and try to get rid of the funk as best as I can. Yes, the funk is real, especially in the cryptocurrency market. But yeah, I'm going to change up things a little bit. I'm going to start doing kind of like a weekly, daily price action trend. On some of the cryptocurrencies that I do follow, and I'll be more than happy to do them on the cryptocurrencies that you guys want me to. I don't know if I'm going to cover BTC as well as F. I'm going to heavily cover LTC today because I know that has been making a very nice move for anybody that's in it. But if time does permit, I will definitely cover F and BTC. And honestly, to be honest with you guys, I've given up all hope on F. And the reason why I've given up hope on F is it's just stuck in a rut. It has a hard time breaking out. And there's a reason why it's having a hard time breaking out and really catching up to what BTC is doing. And if you guys can tell me, how many ICOs are created on a daily basis? See if you guys know. A while back it was, 2 ICOs on a daily basis. But, how many ICOs do you guys think are listed or, being created on a daily basis? See if you guys know. And the number is just, it's insane. It's insane. And that's the reason why really that's the reason why F hasn't really been making a move. It's because these ICOs are just dumping every time they get their F. They're dumping it instantly. And that's, going to cause an issue with F making any type of nice price action move. And I think that's the reason why I'm kind of giving up on it, on the hopes that it, has a nice trend and continues the trend. Any type of uptick that we're getting, it seems like it's just getting dumped by these scammy ICOs that are being created that only have a website and a white paper, and that's all that they have. They're trying to deliver a promise that they're never going to deliver, and that's why they're dumping their F. If they were going to really develop an idea and they had something that was groundbreaking, something that was going to really, make a change in the world, like some of these ICOs are. And there are some ICOs that will definitely end up making a change in the world. But a lot of these ICOs are not going to make any type of changes whatsoever. And that's why they're dumping the F as soon as they get it. But let's see if you guys can figure out exactly how many, ICOs are being created on a daily basis. Enrique, welcome, buddy. When I visit NYC, I need to wash my hands hourly. Yeah, maybe like on a minute basis. But yeah, I think, anytime I attend, if I do end up attending any of these, cryptocurrency forums, I'm not going to shake hands anymore. I'm just going to give them a fist pump. It's going to be fist pump. That's all it's going to be. 5 daily. Oh man, that's an understatement. EOS is greater than F. I don't know. It had a nice price move. It really did. But I think that bottom, that floor, if anybody's looking to get into EOS, is that 50 cents, 60 cents. That's really a good entry. Where your reward versus your risk is going to be a lot better. But yeah, I won't keep this live stream going forever trying to figure out exactly, or for you guys to try to figure out how many ICOs are created on a daily basis. But it's 300. About 300 ICOs on a daily basis are coming out, and that's just insane. It's ridiculous. Only 500, very close to it. But yeah, 300. And how many of them are going to actually survive? Maybe less than 1%, to be honest with you guys. A lot of these ICOs that are getting F, they're just dumping it. And I think, to be honest with you, same thing would happen with BTC if a lot of these ICOs were accepting BTC only. They would be dumping it instantly. Especially if all these forks weren't happening with BTC. But yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. So you got to be very careful if you are taking part in a lot of these ICOs that are being created on a daily basis or hourly basis, because a lot of them are not going to sustain. They're not going to develop what they say they're going to develop. And, they'll just take your money and dump it, take the cash, take the fiat, whatever it is, and not really develop anything at all. So be very careful with it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to LTC. And I went ahead and put my grid in there to try to keep this grid on there. So I'm gonna save it, and hopefully it stays saved. Let's see, LTC. Hopefully that will stay on there on a continuous basis as we go forward, so that we can really track this thing and see exactly what it is doing. So I went ahead and made a line out for the daily movement, but then when I went ahead for the weekly, drew out the bottom, because it did touch that 49.50. And then the high that it really touched recently was 63.19. Now, I talked about in the past having a confirmed breakout past a certain resistance. And when it gives you that confirmed breakout, that's, when it might have a somewhat of a sustained move. And we really had 2 confirmed breakouts on LTC. So if we really look at, the bottom blue line, and I'm hoping you guys can see the bottom blue line. Let me go ahead and make it a little darker. But so the bottom blue line is basically where there was a good amount of resistance. There was about 3 to 4 different points where she had a retracement from those points. She had a hard time breaking out above those points. So, first one here, second one there, third one, and fourth. That's a strong resistance there. So at any time for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 days, she had a hard time breaking out above that really strong resistance. But when she did break out, she had a clear confirmation of a massive breakout. Nope, I don't want to draw any more lines. Let me get rid of that. All right, doesn't want to get rid of it at this moment, but I'll play with it later on. But she did give us a nice confirmed breakout above that resistance of about $56, 55 and change, something to that extent. When we have a candlestick like this completely breaking out above it with a vengeance, that gives you a clear confirmation of a nice breakout. But remember, it is going to have a retracement. It can't just keep having a crazy parabolic move and break in every single resistance that's out there. It is going to have a retracement. So it retraced from 59 bucks, just about. So why did it retrace from 59 bucks? So if we look at the past history, 59 bucks over here was a resistance, so it didn't give us that clear confirmation of a breakout above the second resistance. So first resistance, of course, was at $56, clear confirmation of a breakout. I just showed you guys that candlestick. Second resistance was right around the 58, 59 bucks. And what did it exactly do? It hit that 58, 59 bucks right over here on this candlestick. And it retraced right back down to where the prior resistance was and formed it as a new support. So it's not all the time. It's not all the time, but always keep in the back of your head that, prior resistance can become current support. And this is a textbook example of prior resistance of $56 becoming the current support, because she did get up to the second level of resistance, which was the $59, which we saw in the past chart, that was the place where she had a retracement from. Let me zoom out of this, and hopefully you guys can see this when I zoom out of it. But yeah, there's that 59 bucks completely pulled back down. So if you were looking to get in this and you saw this complete breakout, wait for a retracement to happen, and it doesn't hurt to kind of say, okay, what? The prior resistance was this $56. There's a possibility that it could pull down to that. Now, it might not pull down to that exact $56, but it's going to pull down close to it. It might pull down, maybe 61%, 61.8 Fibonacci retracement to that. But she actually retraced back 100% from the prior resistance to the current resistance up here. So then had a nice little run start. So what did she do? She broke out again above that resistance of 59 bucks and gave you a nice clear confirmation of a breakout on this candlestick. And it closed above that resistance. So you always want to keep an eye out on, where is that candlestick closing? Is it going to retrace all the way back down? Depending on what time frame you're looking at. I'm looking at a 15-minute time frame. Or is it going to, pull back down and consolidate? And she pulled back down to where she formed prior resistance, has become current support. It didn't pull down all the way below the 59 bucks. It basically pulled down to 59.05. So very close to that prior resistance that is forming as a current support. So let's see, why did she pull back from right about $63.40, let's just say. What was the reason why she pulled down from that? There we go right here. So you really got to look at the past history. And I'm not really reading the comments, so I'll definitely read the comments and get back to you guys. But if we really look at the past history, she's going to really tell you where the prior resistance is. So of course we had the prior resistance here as well as here, where she did have a nice run up, pulled back down, and had a crazy run up from that. Let me get rid of this. From that price point. But that $63 was also a resistance. So as we can see, prior to October 20th, that had a hard time breaking out above it. And when she came up to it, she came up just a little above it and pulled back down. Now she didn't pull back down all the way to 59 bucks, which would be a current support for it. But she pulled back down to maybe, I would say, that could be right about a 55% Fibonacci retracement, possibly from $63.50 down to 59 bucks. So right about where it stopped at $60, that looks, just if I was to ballpark it, that's about a 55% retracement that it had. And it held very nicely. She didn't completely break down. She held it. Even when she had a nice little push up to the upside from that point, she still held that $60 and hasn't broken down below that $60, which is very, very bullish at the current time. So she is flagging at the current time. But depending on sentiment and between the buyers and the sellers, the bulls and the bears, who's going to try to take control of this price action. We'll see exactly if she breaks out above that $63 and maintains that break where she's not going to completely break down. We've seen LTC completely break down after having a nice run up. So let's take a look and see, if she does break out above the $63, where is another possibility of a retracement? What is going to be another area that, she could have a hard time breaking out above? And I think I did plot it out. There it is right here. So the first area, if she does break out above 63, is going to be 65 bucks. And it has to be a clear confirmation of a breakout above 63. It can't just be breaking out above 63 and then closing below that $63 price point. She's got to break out above 63 and close above 63, on the 15-minute candlestick or the half-hour candlestick, depending what time frame you are looking at. So if she does break out above 63 and closes above 63 and maintains it, she could get up to $65.50 before having a retracement back down to possibly a 60% retracement from $65.50 to $63. So she could retrace to 64 bucks before possibly consolidating or getting another run up to the upside. So $63, it's got to have a clear confirmation of a breakout. If she doesn't, short sellers could definitely take advantage of that and say, okay, there is no clear confirmation of a breakout above that 63. She's teeter-tottering. Bulls are basically kind of giving up on it and not pushing it up. That's when the shorts are going to step in and heavily short this thing and possibly bring it back down to about the $59 price range. So the $59 price range had a good amount of resistance. Prior resistance can become a strong current support, depending on how many times she's bounced off of that level. So if she doesn't have a clear confirmation of a breakout above 63 and the bulls don't really take control of that price action and the bears do, she is going to pull back down to $59. And, it's not 100% that she will, but the probabilities of it pulling down to that area are very likely. So let's just say hypothetically, she breaks above 63 and holds it. She breaks above 65 and holds it. What is the next area? It's going to really be, between 69 and 70 bucks. That's going to be really the area. Let's see where the close was on this. And I always try to look at where it actually closed, not the high that it got to. So the closing price of this candlestick was $70.20. So right about 70 bucks, should be an area, or 69.75 should be an area where she could pull back down from. So we'll make that red because that is going to be a very strong support. I'm sorry, resistance. And we'll make that we won't make that a dotted line. So if you're in this, and you're looking to hold long term to see what this does, and if she actually starts breaking above those resistance and gives you a clear confirmation of resistance, that's really where I personally would be looking to start locking in some of the profit, or really locking in majority of my profit, because that is the high that she has set, after really breaking down to 47 bucks. So to expect anything more out of it might be kind of wishful thinking. But I do like this price action movement that LTC has made. It was long overdue, and breaking out with a vengeance is just giving you that clear confirmation that she could hold it, and she has held it so far. A lot of times what we've seen is, she'll break it and she'll come right back down and break below that prior resistance that it should form as a current support, like it has here when she broke out this almost 59 bucks and then came back down to 56. Let me see what you guys are saying and try to answer some questions. So 2,600 projects were started. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That is just crazy. There's way too many ICOs. And, really the developers of Ethereum need to really put their foot down and say, you know what, in order for you to be listed, or in order for you to use our blockchain to create this ICO, we need to review the source code. We need to review the white paper and make sure that you are a legit ICO, not one of these scam ICOs. And think about it. I mean, anybody can create an ICO. I can create an ICO, just to take everybody's F. I could easily do it. And anybody can do it. You guys could do it. But yeah, until that really happens and they become very selective on the ICOs that are being created on their platform, I don't see ETH going anywhere, guys. I really don't. I don't. I used to love ETH, and I was a firm believer of ETH, but knowing how many ICOs are being created on their platform, and a lot of them are scams, doesn't really give me the hope for a long-term growth. To scalp it, yeah, but to hold it long-term and wish that it gets up to, I gave it an end of the year target of $1,000 a long time ago. But that was before all these scammy ICOs were being created and they were all dumping the ETH that they were getting. But yeah, 2,600 projects, or I'm sorry, 26,000 projects. It's unreal. It's just unreal. Let's see, Oni saying ETH can't shake its ICO market. No, it can't, unless Vitalik and the developers really put their foot down. That's the only way that it's going to shake off this ICO that's been holding it down, holding it back. EOS seems to have solved the problem. I don't know. I mean, I really haven't been following EOS, but maybe I should start. Maybe I should really start. Andreas, welcome, buddy. It has been a while, man. Welcome. Thank you for joining. What's the percent trading volume in Korea? I don't know. Maybe you guys can look it up and tell me. I haven't really been following the volume in Korea. But yeah, let's take a look at CoinMarketCap. I'm answering some of the questions. Daniel, there you are, buddy. Welcome. Strong hands. I knew you were there somewhere. Buy some dope coin for him? I don't know, bud. That would be yeah, because he'd be asking about it. He'd be asking, well, what is dope? And I don't think that's a conversation I'm ready to have with him. Being 8 years old, and I don't know about the Feds using dope coin, but I'm surprised. I mean, Fed coin, that was a rumor a while back, so I'm surprised Fed coin wasn't created yet, or hasn't been created yet. All right, so let's see, volume in Korea. I wish I can see the volume for everything. Let's see, maybe all. But it's just showing me basically the exchanges. So let's see, BTC, USD. Of course, BTC is always going to have the most volume, but on Bithumb, Seems to be Bitcoin Cash. And I don't know. I don't trust a lot of these exchanges, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I don't see too much volume for Korea. Okay, here we go. So Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin on BitThumb seems to be in the Korean currency, but everything else seems to be kind of in USD. Bittrex USDT for Bitcoin. Coin one for QTIM seems to be in Korea. That's majority of the volume. It's especially within the past 24 hours. That's really all that I'm looking at. Corebit for Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, as well as Ethereum Classic, Ethereum, Ripple. So I'm assuming that's a Korean exchange. But there's got to be a tab where I can see the total market volume per country. Yeah, and I won't waste everybody's time trying to find this, but I'll have to play around with this and see if it actually does show me. All right, so here we go. This is a lot better. For Bitcoin, Bitfinex seems to be the leader when it's paired with the USD. BitThumb seems to be where the majority of the volume is for Korea. For Bitcoin, for Ethereum, it's in Korea or South Korea. For Bitcoin Cash, it's Korea. For Litecoin, it's Korea. For Tether, it's not Korea at all. QTIM, it's Korea. Yeah, so Korea is really leading the volume. Ethereum Classic, it's Korea. Ripple is Korea, of course. Monero. So a lot of volume is pouring, really coming from Korea. Ranjit Rajan, I hope I pronounced that right. Welcome, buddy. First time I'm seeing your name. And yeah, dude, I'm a firm believer in Crypto 20. I really am. And I had the pleasure of hanging out with Daniel when I was at the Blockchain Economic Conference or Economic Forum in New York City. Had dinner with him. Awesome guy. And I got to learn a lot from Daniel and got to really know him as a person, you know, and things that, you know, people probably wouldn't know at all. So yeah, he's definitely an awesome dude. And I think he's doing a great thing for the cryptocurrency market. And I definitely plan on having him again, doing an interview maybe after the ICO. But yeah, I plan on doing another video on just really covering Crypto 20, the ins and outs of it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. So it'll be really an unbiased review, you know, and I'm not being paid by Crypto 20 to do this whatsoever. But yeah, I'm 100% firm believer in Crypto 20 and what they're really doing. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. But yeah, I mean, if you're able to invest in it, you know, it's really a great way to not be exposed in, you know, a couple cryptocurrencies, because really, in honesty, you know, you're going to have an exposure to the top 20 cryptocurrencies, you know, in the sense of the market cap. And, you know, I think that's really the best way to play this market currently, instead of really trying to, you know, pick a needle out of this crazy haystack and not having it work out for you. But yeah, if you've invested in it, man, you know, let me know, because that's awesome. Just buy the underlying crypto. The only problem with you doing that instead of having to do it with the Crypto 20 is, you know, they do autonomous trading, and I'm going to cover this really. I'll do an in-depth coverage of Crypto 20. Today's just not the day to kind of do this, but in honesty, it's hard for an individual person to try to mimic what Crypto 20 is doing, because for you to sit there and try to rebalance it on a weekly basis and try to figure out the slippage and try to figure out, you know, how much you can actually buy at a certain price without having the price really slip too much. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. But their autonomous trading, you know, their system that they've created is able to instantly do that, you know, without you having to worry about it. It's almost like one of those things, you know, where, you know, you just kind of set it and forget it, and they do all the work for you. But yeah, for an individual person to do that, maybe you could do that with, you know, top 5 cryptocurrencies. But to do that with the top 20, it's tough. It is tough, because then you're really actively managing it yourself. And index funds, will always outperform any actively managed fund, and there's no way for you to be able to outperform it if you're actively managing it yourself. Crypto Cutter, welcome, buddy. Yeah, F is effed. Definitely. I think so. Until they can definitely change some things on how ICOs are created on their platform, I completely agree with you. I do. Oni, Crypto 20 will pop. In what sense? Hopefully pop to the upside. But you got to remember though. So if the overall cryptocurrency market does take a dip, Crypto 20 is also going to take a dip. Sorry, I had to read a text message. But Crypto 20 is going to take a dip, but it's not going to take that massive dip. Like if you were only in BTC, let's just say hypothetically you were only in BTC, and 100% of your funds were in BTC, and BTC decides to take a 50% haircut. If you had it in Crypto 20 is only going to have 10% of the funds, really 10% of the dollar that they have in BTC. So if BTC ends up taking a 50% haircut, you're not going to see that much of a drop. You are going to see a little bit of a retracement on C20, but not that big of a retracement at all. Just buy LTC and BTC on a dip. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, these dips that are happening are perfect opportunities if you have the funds available, to take advantage of them, and not to try to intratrade them. To be honest with you, trying to intraday trade this market, it could be stressful, and more than likely, you're gonna panic and sell. But I like holding for a week and see what it does on a weekly trend, and then locking in profits at key areas of resistance, and then buying back in whenever it retraces. And when it forms, really the prior resistance becomes a current support, like we're really seeing on some of these patterns. Bitcoin will make an all-time high. I firmly believe it will. Yes. Okay, bossless. Let's take a look at BTC. And I'm trying to figure out what exchange I should look at it. Not Bitstamp. Maybe Bitfinex. All right, so I didn't really get a chance to plot out too much, but we basically got ever since November, our price action move on a daily. But what did it get to? So I think on the last live stream I said, what? There's a possibility that it's going to retrace to $6,800. I think $6,800 is kind of what I called it. Of course, it didn't get to $6,800. It got to 6,911, I think, if that is the exact price. 6,912. That's exactly the bottom that it got to. So let's go ahead and plot out that bottom. So very close to the $6,800 that I called. Very close to it. So really, within this past month, well, really looking at it as of November 2nd, that is the bottom. That is the bottom is set. And it really retested the bottom that it attempted to set right over here, and that was $6,930 was the bottom that is set right on this candlestick here. So it retested that. It got to a little below it, but I don't think they were going to allow this to go any further. There's a lot of people that were supporting this thing, especially to be able to take advantage of the Bitcoin 2x, especially if you ended up locking in profits, above $7,400. And I know. Not Oni, Rocky Mountain. I know you locked in profits at $7,400, and hopefully, you were able to find an entry below that $7,000 price. But yeah, you were absolutely right, K-Bossless. This could end up getting up to that all-time high. All-time high was basically $7,597. It's not too far away from it. It's a drop in a bucket for it to get up to that level. But if this thing does have a retracement, that that $6,900, 7,000 is going to be area of retracement for it. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to get there, but if it does have a retracement, that's a great place to kind of get an entry, because she's shown us numerous times, especially this past month, starting from the 2nd, that is a good bottom. So your reward versus your risk is going to be a lot better if this thing does dip to 7,000 and you're able to get an entry at 7,000. But she could have a little bit of retracement. So now, really, what we got to pay attention to in the sense of BTC is how she handles you know, that 7,999 bucks or whatever this high is. Let's see. 7,598 bucks. So let's just say 6,000. Let's just say, you know, 7,600 bucks. It's based, the math is basically there. So really we got to pay attention to see how she handles that 7,600 bucks, whether she's going to break out of it with a vengeance or she's going to teeter totter. If she's going to teeter totter, then more than likely shorts could pile in and kind of have this thing come back down. So if she does come back down, you know, I don't think she's going to come back down instantly to that $7,000 price point. But, you know, a price where she could actually come back down to would be somewhere in the range of, you know, 7,400 down to 7,330. That could be an area. So prior resistance, you know, couldn't become current support. She's shown us that numerous times. It's not 100%, but the probabilities are there that this current resistance, and this resistance was twice. So let me go ahead and put a circle there. Or we'll just put a box. So that was that prior resistance there at 7,440, give or take. And then she attempted to break out, got to 7,420, but couldn't really break out above it. So she's shown us that that is a somewhat strong resistance. You know, now it's only twice that she really had a hard time breaking out above that and kind of, you know, came down just a little bit. She didn't come down too much. She came down to 7,300 bucks basically before really getting a nice run up and breaking above this first area, well, second area of resistance, because really this box, first box here is first area of resistance. This will be the second area of resistance. And she did have a clear confirmation of a breakout above it, and she maintained it. And if we really take a look at this thing, let me go ahead and plot out another line. You know, prior resistance becomes current support. So that was the second area of resistance that she couldn't really break out above. She kind of came down, consolidated, got a nice little running start, and broke out to 7,520, but had a nice little retracement. So where did she retrace to? She retraced to the prior resistance, which was 7,420, and she actually retraced to 7,425. So not a big retracement, but she is playing where the prior resistance becomes current support. Now, I've said in the past, it's not 100%, but the probabilities are there. You know, so that's why you don't want to go all in, just in case she does end up breaking below that prior resistance that is trying to form as a current support. So if she does pull back down, you know, there is a possibility that that 7,420 will hold and it'll be a support unless she breaks through that with a vengeance. And if she breaks through that with a vengeance, then, you know, there are other areas that you should be looking at for an entry. And that entry is going to be right over here. That entry will be right around, you know, a little over 7,200. Considering twice, she had a hard time breaking out above it. And when she broke out above it, she broke out above it with a vengeance. So let me go ahead and just draw out some lines to make it a little easier for you guys to see. There's a prior resistance. There's a prior resistance. And like I said, prior resistance can become current support. All right, I can't change that color on that one. But here we go. So right around 7,200, 7,210 bucks. Twice she's attempted to break out above it, couldn't do it, had a nice retracement. And what did we retrace to? We retraced to where the prior retracement was, which is right over here at this line here, 6,912 bucks. But when she broke out above that resistance of 7,210 bucks, she broke out of it with a vengeance. So if this thing does come down and she breaks through the 7,420 bucks because just selling intensifies, that's really a much of a better area, you know, where it could retrace down to. Considering twice, you know, she did bounce off of that level and had a hard time breaking out above it. So prior resistance can become a current support. I think it's going to have a better support at 7,200 versus 7,420 bucks. Even though twice she has shown us that, you know, she couldn't break out above it. But yeah, she breaks it through it with a vengeance. That's really a good area to kind of get an entry. And that's not to go all in, you know, have some money left over in case she does break through and get to the $7,000 level. But I'm also going to answer a question. I'm going to answer some of the questions that you guys have on the chat. But somebody did ask me a question on one of the, I think on the previous video. So I'm going to answer her question on the live stream. So I don't think she's on this live stream at all. But Susanna's, I think your name is, she basically asked me, she's a bit confused regarding, Bitcoin 2x fork, and where do you consider, the best place to have BTC in order to get your B2X? She's currently new. Let's see the rest of the message. She currently has an account on Bittrex and GDAX and Coinbase as well too, which she does not use. Once the fork happens, how should she handle both BTC and B2X? And she's basically, kind of new to this market, and she basically is kind of stating, excuse my question, but for a person who is in this market 2 to 3 months, it's quite confusing. And Suzanne, I can definitely understand where you're coming from, especially being 2 months into this cryptocurrency market. Yeah, it can be very confusing. So I'm going to definitely answer that question for you once I answer some of the questions that's on the chat. Oh man, a lot of questions. Let's see, CoinCap, Olaf. I don't know what you mean by that. But yeah, if you want to clarify that, I'll try to get to it. Korean barbecue. Hey man, I love Korean food. I love it. I love all Asian food. Yes. Yeah. And that's the one thing I don't like about EOS, Crypto Cutter. You're absolutely right. It's an ERC20 token. I don't like that at all. I mean, if they're trying to create their own blockchain, why not utilize their own token? But yeah, a year-long ICO, I think it's a little insane, a little crazy. $300 an ounce. Dude, I wish gold was $300 an ounce. I remember when it was $300 an ounce. I remember it. I was buying other things for about $300 an ounce. That was way back in my day, way back in my college days. Andreas, you bought into Crypto 20. Dude, thumbs up to you, buddy. Thumbs up, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you did. I think hands down, it could be one of the best investments ever. It could really be. And I'm not being paid to say that, guys. I really am not. I'm not paid by anybody to say or do anything. And if I was, I would let you guys know, because I'm a fan of honesty and transparency. So I'm not being paid to promote Crypto 20 whatsoever. I'm just a firm believer in what they're working on. Let's see, Daniel, your great investment advice. Wait until after 2x BTC fork, and for BTC to dip. Then wait until after the dip and start buying on the way up. It's definitely going to dip after the 2x fork. It's definitely going to dip. But does it really hurt to buy it now, to take advantage of the fork? And I'm going to answer Suzanne's question about what she should do, to take advantage of the fork. If you remove BitTrash, I'm assuming BitCash and F, it's BTC and LTC in the game. Yeah. But I don't think, Bitcoin Cash and, Bitcoin Gold are going to go anywhere at all. And I think they're really sustaining a good price point. They're not crashing down to $5, $10. People still believe in it. And I don't think any of these fork coins that are being forked from BTC are going to go anywhere. Eventually, BTC is going to be, right now he's had 2 kids. He's about ready to have 3 kids, or I should say she, because I always refer to cryptocurrencies as she. So BTC, she's about to have 3 kids now, and those kids are going to have kids. So eventually, BTC, she will be a grandmother, and possibly a great grandmother later on down the road, as these forked coins are forking into something else, and then those coins are forking into something else. Lisk, Oni, anything for you, buddy? Let me put that on my list. I'm going to make sure to cover that for you, bud. I'm assuming you have a position in Lisk if you're asking me to cover it. Yep. Okay. I didn't read the rest of your message. You got in last night and stop loss triggered on me. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, we all know that some whales go stop hunting, and that's basically what they'll do. So yeah, it all depends, how close your stop loss was. If you had it very close to the actual price point, yeah, it's going to be triggered. It's going to be triggered instantly. But yeah, I will cover that. I'm going to answer, Suzanne's question, and then I'm going to go ahead and cover that for you. Bossless, do I care about getting S2X coins? What's S2X? I'm assuming you mean Bitcoin 2X, B2X instead of S2X, or split 2X. Is that what you mean? And that's going to be part of, you know what, I'm going to do an in-depth conversation about that. So if you're referring to Bitcoin 2X, on how to handle it and how to really go about it, I'll talk about that. And that's exactly, yeah, Christopher Chan, thank you so much for mentioning that. And that's exactly what I was going to say. Now, Coinbase has stated, now they could easily go back on their statement and say something else. I don't believe anything Coinbase kind of puts out. But Coinbase did say that they were going to be supporting it, what I think 24 hours after the fork, or 4 hours after the fork, something to that extent. Will they'll allow you to trade it on their platform? Crypto 20 to the moon. Nice. I'd like to see that there are fans of Crypto 20 on here. And if Daniel's watching this live stream, or maybe Bobby. Bobby, I know, was a fan. Bobby's one of the C20 guys. And when I was having dinner with Daniel, he basically said that Bobby was a fan of CryptoTraders Room before I even covered Crypto 20. And I think he was kind of surprised that I covered Crypto 20. But yeah, Bobby, if you're listening, thanks for being a fan of CryptoTraders Room. I appreciate that. Before I even talked about Crypto 20. Yeah, maybe we'll do a C20 type of live stream one day where we'll just talk about C20 and get some people on the live stream to talk about C20. Maybe that's something we'll kind of work on. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to run down to these real quick. You can make BTC hydrogen. Yeah, let's do it, man. We can coin that. All right, so excuse me. Oh man. So let's go ahead and answer some of the question that I was presented to on one of the YouTube videos on basically, how to handle your Bitcoin fork. So Coinbase, Suzanne, if you are watching this, Coinbase is supporting Bitcoin fork. They didn't support the first one, Bitcoin Cash, unfortunately. So they're holding Bitcoin Cash until January 1st, which we all know what they're doing with everybody's Bitcoin Cash. They're trading it, making money off of it. But they did say they are going to be supporting Bitcoin Cash. I'm sorry, Bitcoin 2X. So they're going to allow you to basically trade it, I think, within 24 hours after it forks. So my honest advice is, if you have BTC on Coinbase or an exchange that's supporting the fork, I don't know of too many exchanges that are supporting the fork. So if you guys know what exchanges are supporting the fork, just go ahead and type that out, just so anybody that's watching this can know exactly which exchanges are supporting it. I know for a fact Coinbase is, and I know for a fact that, if you have it in a hardware wallet where you control the private keys, like Trezor, yes, you can split those coins. But you got to be very careful, especially if you're on an exchange that is supporting the fork. What you need to do is, because a lot of people are going to probably be looking to flip their B2X coins, sell them right away. But there's a possibility, since there is no replay protection, that you are going to be exposing your private keys. And there's a possibility that you could have your Bitcoins kind of wiped out and stolen from you. So my honest advice is, anybody that's holding BTC and they end up getting B2X, and they want to get rid of their B2X, because it's mooning, it's going parabolic. First thing to do is really secure your Bitcoins. Secure it. Move it to another address. That's the first thing you should do. You should not attempt to move or sell your B2X tokens whatsoever until you actually secure your actual BTC. Once you secure BTC, into another wallet that you control the private keys, or into another address, or if you're on Coinbase, they do have a Bitcoin vault. You can move your BTCs to the Bitcoin vault and then be able to trade your B2X coins. So honestly, the first thing you should do is just secure your Bitcoins, then do whatever it is that you want to do with your, B2X, whether sell it, move it to another wallet, whatever it is. But yeah, it doesn't really matter, whatever exchange is supporting it. Not all exchanges will be supporting it, but the exchanges that are going to be supporting it, if you end up getting, those dividend tokens, secure the BTC first. Don't attempt to sell B2X until you actually secure BTC. And if you guys want to add something to that, definitely, feel free to add it on what you guys are really doing. I mean, how are you securing your Bitcoins? Because nobody wants to have their Bitcoin stolen. But then we also got to be careful about Coinbase, changing the Bitcoin name to B2X to cause confusion. So let's just say hypothetically, they end up saying, you know what? B2X has more miner support, has more of the community support. So we're going to call B2X BTC, and we're going to call BTC B2X. If that is the case, then you got to know what the true BTC is. And the true BTC is not going to be what they're calling BTC. The true BTC is going to be B2X. If they end up changing the name, which I think it's unethical, it's morally unacceptable that they would change a ticker symbol to an existing ticker to try to cause that mass confusion. So if they do end up changing BTC to B2X, remember on Coinbase or GDAX, B2X is going to be the real Bitcoin if they make that change. And you just got to really pay attention. Maybe, sign up to the Twitter, sign up for their news feed, and, keep an eye out on when they make that change. And if you're holding BTC and you see it switch to B2X, remember that is the true Bitcoin that you're holding. Because later on, they could reverse that. They've retracted on their statement many times, as we know it. So they could easily retract back on that statement and say, oh, you know what? We're going to go ahead and change, the B2X back to BTC. So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, what do I think is going to happen after the fork? So, we all know that people are accumulating BTC. What are we at now? Almost 7,497. So we know that BTC, well, people are accumulating BTC to take advantage of the fork. After that snapshot happens on the blockchain, what is the reason for anybody to be holding BTC at that current time? If they're up huge in profit. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be buying BTC when that split happens or when that snapshot happens. There's no reason for them to buy it at, $7,500, $7,700 or 8,000, depending what level it gets to right before that snapshot happens. There's really no reason. As a trader, personally, if I bought BTC, let's just say at 6,000, $6,500 or even 7,000, and that snapshot happens, I secure my BTC. There's really no reason for me to hold BTC. I would look to lock in those profits, wait for a dip, and buy back in. Now, on the previous live stream, I talked about possibly, and these are just only my opinions, possibly where that dip could come down to, and that dip could really come down to $4,900 to 5,000. From 8,000, possibly if it gets up to that level, down to a 5,000 retracement is not much for BTC. We've seen it retrace from 5,000 down to 2,000. That retracement, I'm sorry, from 5,000 down to 3,000, retracing from, 4,000 down to a little under 2,000. We've seen that retracement happen. So for it to retrace down, 40%, it's not much for it. And if that selling intensifies where people are like, man, I bought this dirt cheap, I bought it at 4,000, 5,000, or I bought it at 3,000 a couple months ago, well, not a couple months ago, maybe a month ago when we had that dip from 5,000 to 3,000. And I know a buddy of mine bought it at 3,000. My honest opinion for him would be, what, that snapshot happens, you go ahead and secure your BTC and your B2X are secure. I would be looking to lock in the profit if it hits, $7,500, 8,000, whatever it might get up to. But until that time, I don't really see a major sell-off happening. There's really no reason for people to be panic selling because a lot of people got in this, assuming that knowing that they're going to be getting, B2X coins. But after that, if there's no news about of another fork happening, why would they not take profit? As a trader, I would be taking the profit, locking it in, and then I would be waiting to buy back in at what might be a nice bottom, which would be the 5,000. So let's go ahead and take a look at that 5,000. And this is on, what am I looking at on Bitfinex? And then before this live stream ends, I'll go ahead and just converse with you guys and answer questions. So about 5,100 bucks. But let me look at it a little better. So depending on what exchange you're looking at, it could be a little different. There's that 4,900 bucks. And before really it decided to take off and break through that with a vengeance, because that was really a crazy resistance. So really where I see this thing possibly pulling back down to is really the 49, let's just say 49.30 down to 51.20. It's not going to be 100%, but that's really an area where I can see BTC kind of pulling down to. If selling intensifies, if the whales are just dumping this thing left and right because they already got their coins, they can care less, what BTC is going to do because there isn't another fork happening, and they want to manipulate the market. And we know that whales can manipulate this market easily. So really, I mean, if you end up, taking entries at different key areas of support, and another area of support, a really strong area of support. Let me go ahead and move this down, is going to be right about the 6,000 range. But I can see it breaking the 6,000 range and possibly getting down to that, 5,000. So, I mean, if I was looking at getting into BTC, I might kind of get my feet wet after 2x and see exactly, how the sell-off happens. And if the sell-off ensues and continues and causes a domino effect of stop losses being taken out, I would be looking to get in just a little bit of an entry at 6,200 bucks, 6,100 bucks, to see how she reacts to that very strong support. And if she breaks through it, really, I mean, 5,000, 5,100, that's really where I would be looking to kind of go all in and then just say, you know what, I'm not even going to look at BTC for a couple of days. I'm not going to panic and sell. If she does dip to, let's just say 4,700 bucks, 4,500 bucks, because that's really a great entry if she does get to those levels. But I mean, only time will tell. Only time will tell. And it's going to have a major sell-off. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of, is it going to happen right after the snapshot? Or is it going to be a couple days because people want to make sure that they secure their BTC, before doing anything? But yeah, that's really the level that I can kind of see this thing, crashing down to. And Wells, all they need to do is just give it a little bit of a push to the downside. And people start panic selling, and especially if they have their coins already, their B2X coin, there's no reason for them to not lock in the profit. They don't want to watch their profits dwindle and dwindle and dwindle to the point where, wow, man, I was up huge, and now all of a sudden I'm just breaking even on my entry on BTC when I could have locked in that profit and waited for the dip. And if a lot of traders are thinking the way I'm thinking, selling can really intensify, and that could be the day, where if you hadn't already sold at the top, and this thing is coming down, you might need to walk away from your computer, or grab a beer and just chill and watch it, grab some popcorn, and wait for that bottom entry. Get your order in the book so that you're first in, so that you can become first out. All right, so let's see. Bittrex is supporting the fork, but did they say exactly when they're going to allow people to get their B2X coins? But yeah, and I think alts at the time of the sell-off, I think alts will do very well. I think they will do very well. LTC could do very well. I think Ethereum could do very well too. I think it can have a nice parabolic move to the upside. But then we got to keep in the back of our mind that scammy ICOs are going to be dumping their ETH. They will be dumping their ETH for a bigger profit. So I don't think BTC, or I'm sorry, I don't think ETH will maintain that move to the upside. It won't be a sustained move to the upside. So if you're holding ETH, that might be time to kind of lock in the profits and wait for a dip. So if ETH does have a crazy move to the upside, let's go ahead and just kind of look at ETH real quick, since I haven't looked at it today. If ETH does have a crazy move and she breaks out, above what I would really call, somewhat of a strong resistance, or really a strong resistance, even though she's gotten above it. The 305 range, gets above 305 and really starts breaking out and getting to 320. 320 is still going to be a strong resistance. I've talked about it in the past. It's still going to be strong resistance, considering she's gotten pulled back down from that level many, many times. But yeah, if she breaks out of 305, 310 with a vengeance and gets up to 350, I would be locking the profits, because it will come back down to $300. Now, $300 seems to have a very strong support. Now, she could easily break that $300 and get down to this 275, 270-ish, 280-ish range. Now, I did buy BTC. I'm sorry, I did buy F. I didn't buy too much. I bought 2.3, 2.28, 2.29, something to that extent. I didn't buy too much at all, since I don't have too much capital to kind of utilize anymore. But I bought it at 286.83 was my entry point. And I missed the entry here. And I did have capital. I didn't get this entry at 276. I kind of missed that. But my entry was, let's see, that was about 5 days ago. 286 right over here, 286.83. So that's kind of where I got into F. Like I said, I only bought 2.29, 2.28, something to that extent. But yeah, let's just say 2.2, make the math easy. But yeah, that's my entry. And 320, I would probably be looking to sell a little bit of it. Maybe I might sell one and see exactly how she reacts to it. But yeah, 310, I can easily see this thing kind of pulling down from those levels. I wouldn't hold all of it thinking that, it's going to break out above 310 and it's going to break out with a vengeance. It could easily teeter-totter in that range. At least I locked in some of the profit. If it does break out of it above it with a vengeance, then I still have, 1.2 or 1.3 left over to sell, possibly in that 350 range, if she does get up to those levels. But yeah, 350 will be right around here. So 310, I'd be looking to take some profit, considering I got in at 286.83, and then 350, really sell everything, get rid of it. I might not even sell the whole one at 310. I might just sell maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of an F, 0.75, just to lock in some profit and have capital in case she does dip. And then 350 though, I'm out, completely out from that position. I will liquidate everything. Because I don't really see this thing getting up above that, considering ICOs will be dumping this thing hardcore. And let me take a look at something real quick. And I kind of saw this the other day, and I was like, man, I can't believe I missed this thing. I just need to enlarge this. So let's see. I'll look at the chat on the other side of my screen. But yeah, what do you guys see here? Let me see. Maybe I'll look at a half-hour chart. Let me know if you guys see the same thing that I'm seeing. Where is it? Where is it? Let me know what you guys see in this range here. If there's any pattern that kind of sticks out. Let's see who calls it first. And then I'll definitely cover list for you, Oni. Yeah, stop hunted, man. Dude, that's the name of the game sometimes with some of these wells, dude. That is the name of the game. Yeah, they know, man. They know where a lot of people will put their entry in, especially with stop losses. But yeah, I'm assuming nobody's going to guess what pattern you'd probably be seeing on this F chart. And we're looking at the 30-minute chart. Let me see on the 1-hour chart or 45-minute chart. Cup and handle. Let's see. I don't really see a cup and handle. On the 1-hour chart, not as defined. I'm sorry, on the 45-minute chart, it's not as defined. Let's see if we can see this a little better, maybe. Now, it looks to be better on the 30-minute chart. Let me look at the 15-minute chart and see if I see it a little better on there. But yeah, when I was looking at this the other day, I was like, man, I didn't really spot this out. I'm like, that sucks. You're looking at the wrong chart on your computer. All right. So yeah, I won't waste everybody's time because I definitely want to take a look at Lisk. But basically a head and shoulder. We definitely see a head and shoulder on this 15-minute chart. It's a little more defined in comparison to, looking at a 30-minute chart or 45-minute chart or anything larger than that. But, we got the head here. You got the shoulder. Got the shoulder. And then you got, let's see if I can zoom out of this. And then you basically got the neck. Really, the neck is right where the price action is right now at $299, $300. But yeah, there's a head. It's not a well-defined head considering, we had a nice move up to the upside and broke down and then moved back up. But really, that's still a head. And then you got the shoulders that came down to exactly to a T where they should be, very symmetrical, $315. And it had a hard time breaking out above that $315, because that happened to be the right shoulder or left shoulder, depending on how you're looking at this. But yeah, there's a head and shoulder and the complete breakdown of that head and shoulder. Yeah, and I was like, man, how come I didn't see this? But if you're not looking for these type of patterns, you're not gonna spot them out, to be honest with you. You will not spot them. I mean, a couple of times that it just really failed to break out, above, that $310, $312 price point. So that $312 price point is going to be a very crucial level for F. I mean, F is still going to have a lot of problems, with ICOs just dumping. But, where I drew out this red line basically is going to be a tough area. And as long as she can break out of this area with a vengeance, then, she'll have a nice sustained move to the upside. Let's go ahead and make that purple. But yeah, here it had a hard time breaking out above it. Here it had a hard time breaking out above it. Here it had a hard time breaking out above it. Here, I mean, they got close, but nowhere close to that 312. Here it had a hard time breaking out above it. So that 312 is going to be, or 315-ish, 312-ish, is going to be a very crucial level that she has to get above it, and she has to break out above that with a vengeance. And if she can't, that's an area really she's going to pull back down from, and that's an area that I'm looking to sell just a little bit, just to have a little bit of a profit that I'm going to lock in. But let me take a look at this on a different scale. But yeah, another head and shoulder here. There's a head, there's a shoulder there. So, I mean, it's telling us a couple times, there is a head and shoulder that's forming, and it's completely breaking down from those head and shoulder patterns. Now, do we see an inverted head and shoulder on this? Let's see. Possibly. I might have to zoom out a little further. So possibly an inverted head and shoulder as well too. So where do I see the inverted head and shoulder? There's a head, there's a shoulder, and we can say that's a shoulder, but it's not as symmetrical as it should be, but that's a shoulder there. So, there's a lot of conflicting things that are going on with an F. And I think a lot of it has to do with, these scammy ICOs that are just dumping on every little uptick, locking in profits. They might have a little bit left over, and on any uptick, they're just instantly dumping it. So, I mean, it's an ugly chart. It's an ugly chart. I want to see something a little better in regards to F. All right, Lisk. Yeah, so if I do end up missing some of these questions, I apologize. But yeah, use the @CryptoTraders Room if it's a very specific question, if you want me to answer, and I'll definitely spot those out now. Unless everybody's using @CryptoTraders Room to try to get my attention on the question, then it might be tough. But I'll do my best to try to get through the questions as best as I can. Waiting to buy BTC below $4,400. I don't know, $4,400, man. I don't know. 5,000 you know, 4,900 bucks. I mean, if you're waiting for 4,400 bucks, you're being, I mean, even 5,000 is very conservative. You know, 5,000 is very conservative. So 4,400 bucks. And it all depends what exchange you're looking at to see, you know, what really happened at 4,400 bucks. But looking at Bitfinex, you know, 5,000 to possibly 4,900 bucks, you know, that's as conservative as I can be. Yeah, Andreas, I agree with you, man. I agree with you on that 100%. You know, 5,000, you know, even 5,500 bucks. Yeah, that should be the bare bottom if crazy selling intensifies and people are just suffering from this crazy FUD. That's really where we could see it really coming down to. But yeah, 4,400 bucks. Whew, I mean, that'll be huge. And if it does, I mean, definitely have capital left over. I would definitely have capital left over in case it does get to those levels. But you know, everybody and their mother, you know, that's really when it's going to draw in a lot of new money into this market. You know, when if it does, you know, get to that $5,000 level and it crashes below that $5,000 level and maybe gets down to your level, Daniel, of 4,400 bucks. But yeah, Andreas, you know, I don't think it's going to come down to that $5,000 level until after the fork happens. You know, that's just my thinking, my logic's behind it. I don't think it's going to come down to it now and then run up to an all-time high before the fork. No, I've not looked at Rootstock. Come on, list. Where are you? I know list USD. So we'll take a look at Bittrex. Wow, this got up to $5. Holy crap. I mean, I remember looking at this thing. Somebody asked me to look at it a while back. And it was when it was basically crashing, and it was crashing hard. Or it might have been something else. All right, let's see what I can plot out here. Major support, you know, seems to be at that right around, you know, $4.30, $4.50. Yeah, she crashed below it. That's basically people, you know, panic selling or stop losses being taken out. But majority of the time, it's been bouncing off of that level of $4.30. That's kind of where I see it. And this is on a 1 hour chart, so let me get a little more granular. Man, this is like a roller coaster ride. This is like up and down. It's like my 8-year-old son driving my Pathfinder all over the road. Yeah, this thing just massively, you know, comes down. And I mean, are any of these, you know, upticks that it's having, you know, just a manipulation? Is there a pump and dump group that's pumping this thing? Because as we can see, you know, price action is pretty ugly, you know, from October 21st to October 23rd. So for about 3 days, I mean, it's ugly. There's nothing impressive about it. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just shoots up out of nowhere. So, I mean, I don't know if there was any news to kind of have a nice sustained move, but I mean, considering that it's just crashing back down, any news that's out is nothing that's sustaining this type of price action to continuously have it grind up to the upside. But I mean, just looking at, you know, we're going to really look at November. I mean, I had to take a look at the overall chart just to kind of see, you know, where the major where the major support was. And yeah, here's so reason why I didn't even take a look at really going back to June of 2017. You know, I was only really looking at as of September 14th of 2017. But reason why that has been a good support is right over here on June of 2017. That was a nice peak that it had before really coming and crashing back down. So that actually formed a nice support at that level. But let's just go ahead and take a look at from, just really the past 8 days, November, and see where could this really retrace down to. And if it has retraced, what level did it hold? So it looks like it held that level there, which was basically right over here at this peak. So, I mean, we could even lower this down to that, but we'll keep it up just a little bit. So, I mean, you always want to be looking at, prior resistance. And is that prior resistance forming a current support? And how many times is it forming that current support? All right, so prior resistance here, just about $4.82. And then it formed a current support at $4.86. Not too far off from it. You're not always going to get it 100% to a T to that exact point. So, rule of thumb, and I've broken my rules many times, is, if you think about a very specific price point. So let's just say, I was looking at this and looking for an entry, and I was like, all right, you know what, $4.63 is a great entry point. More than likely, it's not going to get to that level. You always want to go maybe 5 to 10 cents above that level. So if you would have gone 10 cents above that level, that would have been $4.73. Did it get to 473? On this pullback here, no, it got to 486. But as we can see, though, here, she did get above that $4.63, but heavily pulled back down. So that really move was not sustained. It didn't really form that current resistance as a current support. So let me move this down a little bit. And really, I'll pull it down to the closing price, which would be $4.80, not the high that it hit. I'm sorry, the high on this was 482. I said 463. 463 was the low. So 482 was the high on that. And when she pulled back down on this pullback here, it was 473, just a little below it. But a good amount of fighting happened. When it attempted to break out and got to $5, a good amount of fighting happened between the bears and the bulls within this price action movement here. Somebody had to take control of this, and the bears definitely fought this. I mean, the bulls definitely, fought the bears off and decided, what, we're not going to allow this to crash back down and retest the level of $4.30. They maintained it. They really maintained it. And as long as they can maintain that, that prior resistance to hopefully become somewhat of a current support, now it had basically dropped below it to $4.64. $4.64 was basically the low of this high candlestick, $4.63. So let me go back to this. This candlestick here had a high of 482, a low of 463. When it came back down, the bears really, or the bulls, didn't allow this thing to get below that 463. It got to 464. And, that would have given you somewhat of a confirmation saying, okay, you know what? The bulls really held the low of this candlestick here, which was a prior high, which was a resistance where it pulled back down to $4.30. They held that low, and that low was 463. The low on this candlestick was 464, and they held it and didn't allow it to break below that level. And from there on, it really someone had a nice upward movement. So that would have been, okay, you know what? I'm going to get an entry in as long as it breaks out above this $4.82. And let's see the break of $4.82. And like I said before, it has to give you that clear confirmation of a breakout. So $4.89, and this is a half-hour candlestick. So if you actually enlarge this thing and look at it on a larger scale, like a 1-hour candlestick, you would see that it would be a massive green candle. So let's go ahead and look at the 1 hour. Here's that candlestick right here. And it actually closed above $4.83. It actually closed at $4.98. So that would give you a confirmation that, you know what, the bulls are in control of this. The bears attempted to take control and bring this down, but they couldn't. The bulls really supported this thing at $4.64. That would have been a great entry. 465, 480 would have been a great entry. Now this thing is really breaking out, and it is breaking out, especially on the 1 hour candlestick, and it's breaking out with a vengeance. Let's see this candlestick here. Let me enlarge this and get rid of the chat. So this resistance right over here on this candlestick, $4.45, $4.45. It didn't even teeter-totter. As we can see on this candlestick here, yes, $4.45 came right back down, retraced to $4.14. But this is giving you a clear confirmation of a nice breakout above that 445. So depending on how this candlestick closes, as long as it closes above this 445 and she doesn't pull back down, and the next candlestick, opens up above or at the closing price of this candlestick, then this still has the control of the bulls. The bulls are still controlling this thing. But if the next candlestick on the 1 hour opens up below the closing price of this current candlestick, that's really a nice little bullish movement, then that the bears are going to be in control if she opens up below this candlestick. So really got to pay attention to this candlestick if you're in this, to see how she is closing. And if she opens up or closes, if she opens up above the current candlestick on the next 1 hour, then you're not, and that's about 27 minutes. 27 minutes, we'll find out exactly how this candlestick closes. And then the next candlestick opens up. As long as it opens up above it, the bulls are still in control of this. If it opens up below it, the bears are in control, and she could retest possibly the level of $5.10. Or let's see. Yes, $5.10 to $5.05. That could be an area where she could retrace to if profit takers are stepping in and if the bears decide to take control of this thing. So that's where I would possibly see this thing retracing down to if she doesn't have a confirmed close. So here we go. Let's see how she closes. So she's got to maintain that 545, and she's got to close above that 545. And the next candlestick within 26 minutes has to open up either at or above the closing price of the current 1 hour candlestick. But if she doesn't, and she closes below that 545, the bears are in control. And there is a possibility that she could retest the 505 to 510 price action again. Because that's showing us that that is a resistance. That was a resistance that it had. And, prior resistance, so that's the first area of resistance. This yellow line down here is the second area of resistance. So the probabilities of it holding the first area of resistance are very probable, because how many times it had a hard time breaking out above it. And when she did break out above it, somewhat of a vengeance, but not what I would like to see. So, she could retest it and possibly get down to the 480. So if you're looking to play this and you're looking to be patient, I would be patient personally and wait for 480. Maybe get your feet wet at $5.05 or $5.10. But yeah, kind of wait until that 480 range. So Oni, hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, if you're going to put your stop loss in, yeah, you got to be careful, that you're not putting it close to, or above where the resistance, where the support is. Because a lot of people, when they put in their stop loss, they'll put it above the resistance. And more than likely, it gets to the resistance and pulls right back up. And, I would put it maybe 10 to 20 cents, depending on your position too. I mean, if you have a very sizable position, to put it below, 20 cents below the resistance might be a little too much. But if you have only a small position, you can afford to put it 20 cents below where the resistance is, because more than likely, if they are stop hunting, they're going to stop hunt to that resistance level. Because a lot of traders will be possibly, putting it, especially a lot of new traders would probably put their stop loss in, especially, let's just say hypothetically here, on this candlestick, where it had a nice little retracement down to $4.30. A lot of people would have probably put in their stop loss at like $4.31, and they would have been, their stop loss would have definitely been executed. But yeah, I would go a little lower, 10 to 15 cents below where you see that resistance. Because if she crashes through that resistance hardcore, she's going to keep crashing it. But there's a possibility that, she could touch that resistance and then bounce right back up. And Wells will play that game, continuously. They'll bring it down to exactly where they see the resistance happening. And as long as you can pick out the resistance, and it's, it's not always going to be 100%. It's just the probability of it. So that's why it's probably not safe to sell everything or to put a stop loss for everything at that specific stop loss or at that specific resistance. Because there's a possibility they could take out, your position. And if you put everything down at that line, then they'll take everything out. And then really from that point, it'll bounce right back up. So Wells were definitely playing this. So really, let's take a look at this real quick. Where did this get down to? $4.27. $4.32. $4.34. And then they brought it down to $4 and let's just say 31 cents. So if anybody had their stop loss, a little above where that support would be, yeah, that they would have instantly, got stopped out. Yeah, that's why, $4.32 there, $4.34 there. On October 9th, what was it? $4.27. So if you put a stop loss at $4.27, you would have been perfectly fine. You wouldn't have gotten stopped out. But putting in a stop loss based on, that the 427 would have been the first area of support. This would have been kind of the second area of support at $4.34. $4.34, another second area of support. So if anybody would have said, I'm going to put my stop loss, if it drops, below this price action here, it got to 430, 431. That was only a 3-cent drop below the October 23rd low that it had to basically set. So yeah, you would have gotten stopped out. Anybody would have gotten stopped out if they were playing this as a resistance or a place to put their stop loss in. Yeah, always go at least 10 cents below where you see the resistance. Because then that, if it does crash through the resistance of $4.30, then what, it's going to completely crash through your stop loss. And it's going to even go down further. And that's exactly what probably happened here. So that 434 was a prior support where it held it pretty well. But right over here, it crashed and it crashed hardcore. So if anybody would have put in a stop loss, if they were thinking the way I'm thinking and said, what, I'm not going to put it at 435 because I'll definitely get stopped out. But I'm going to go ahead and put it, at 430. Then here, yes, I would have definitely gotten stopped out because this thing really hit $3.70, and you would have been really protected because you would have got out at, $4.25. Considering it was $4.34, you put it 10 cents below where the actual support is. So there you would have definitely been protected, but you would have still been stopped out. But considering it dropped to 370, you wouldn't have lost a lot of your capital there, or been down a lot. But yeah, that's exactly what probably happened in this area here. Head and shoulder pattern all over. Yes. Crypto Cutter, if you're talking about the F chart that I looked at earlier, yes, it was all over the place. It was all over. You've been scalping the S out of it for the last month. Made 3.3 BTC. Dude, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. Then suddenly it went stable. Then you finally decided to grab an entry on it, but got stop hunted. Yeah. But dude, I mean, hopefully, I don't know how much of it you gave back of your profit, but you're not always going to be profitable. And to make 3.3 BTCs, I mean, hopefully that was all profit and not including your capital. I mean, dude, that's amazing. That is amazing, man. That's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, don't kick yourself over getting stopped out. But you know, you made 3.3 BTCs. So stop loss hunted by a whale on a pump and dump. Yeah, you got to be careful of those, especially, you know, on exchange where you can hide your order. You know, those are the ones that you should be very careful about. You know, if they have the ability to hide their order and they're actually showing their hand, yeah, it's pure manipulation. They're manipulating that price, whether it's to the upside or downside. You know, and I've talked about it in the past. I mean, if I really wanted an entry or if I really wanted to get out and I was a whale, I would not be showing my hand at all. All right, so what is this thing doing? Not closing above that. Let's see, 1 hour chart we're looking at. Not closing above the 545, so that's not good. That is not good. What do we got? 18 minutes left. Can I stay on this for 18 minutes? I think I can. So yeah, I'll stay on this for 18 minutes, 12 o'clock on the dot. I will be ending this live stream. I kind of want to see how this price action plays out. But I can kind of see this thing, considering she's not holding, you know, that 545. I can see this thing kind of pulling back down and retesting that $5 price point, possibly. Let's see how much of a price action this red candle engulfs. So right now, I mean, it's basically engulfing the whole price action movement of this price action here, and this price action on the previous candle. And this is a 15-minute chart that we're looking at. You know, low was $5.40, the high was $5.57. You know, a difference of 17 cents. It's engulfing the whole thing basically. So depending on how this thing closes within 2 minutes on the 15-minute price action, if it closes below it or gaps down below it, yeah, it's going to retest. You know, close to the 514, 505 range. And it's not 100%. Just remember that. It's not 100%. These are just probabilities. You want to chase it badly? I would wait, man. If you're talking about list, which I think you are, don't chase it yet, because really right now on the 15-minute candlestick, let's take a look at the 30-minute candlestick. The bears are in control of this, you know, especially if it engulfs this whole prior green candlestick. If it engulfs it, the bears are in control, and they will probably maintain that control until she gets to a nice healthy level where, you know, I'm not looking at the order book to see, you know, if there is any good support happening at that level of 505 to 510 possibly. But that's really the area that I would feel comfortable buying, is really that 510, 505. Because then if it really gets up to 550 again, 560, it looks like it hit, and you got it in a 510, I mean, that's a 50 cents per coin profit if you were intraday trading this thing. Let's see if the bears or the bulls will take control and move this thing back up. Yeah, I'll keep bouncing back to the 1 hour. 27 minutes on the 1 hour. I thought it was like 18 minutes. 15 minutes on the 1 hour. And it's not looking good. Not looking good. Yeah, I mean, even on a 5-minute chart, it's not maintaining that 545. Let's see, 15 minutes. Not looking good at all. Yeah, this is definitely going to retest that 510. Considering it did not hold the prior resistance. as a support. It didn't hold it at all, not at the current price action movement. And then really the next level, if we really, get granular on the chart, I mean, I would be patient to 505, 510, but next level that it should hold, and it all depends how she breaks through it, whether she's going to hold it and teeter-totter in that range, or she's going to break through it, because people right now are, could be panic selling, considering they made a huge profit, especially if they got in early this morning. Is that 520, 525 range? So anywhere from 525 to 522. 522 to 519 looks like a good range. So let me go ahead and plot that one out. Let's see how she handles that area of support, or prior resistance, possibly becoming current support. More than likely, I can see it breaking through that, considering she has previously in the past broken through it. When she got to 545 and she pulled back, she pulled back below that $5.21. She pulled back to 514. But yeah, definitely got right back up to it. But considering she didn't really hold that 521, I wouldn't say that's a strong support at all for it. That 505 is really what I would be patient for. So don't go chasing this thing now. Time for popcorn. Yeah, dude. I hear that. But yeah, I always say, I mean, don't chase anything. Don't chase it. That's when you're going to get burned. Yes, you could make a profit here and there, but if you continuously start chasing things, eventually it's going to come back and bite you. Just be patient with it. Be patient and see how she reacts to certain key levels. So the biggest level right now, she has to see how she reacts to it. If she gets down to it, is the 520, 521 range. If she fails on the 1 hour to close above the 545, and at this current time, she's not going to close at 545. Let's see how the 1 hour is looking. So about 11 and a half minutes. PK, what is up, buddy? Thanks for joining. Thank you for joining. I hate looking at the 3 minute, but sometimes it does kind of help. There we go on that 3 minute. Oh, sorry, I had to mute that. All right, so 538. Yeah, she's going to break down to that 521. And I don't have an entry in this, guys, and I don't really plan on taking an entry in this. I don't really have any capital left over to play this. 538. 30 minutes is looking pretty ugly. 10 minutes until the 1 hour candlestick closes. Now, let's just say hypothetically, this thing closes at exactly $5.40. So if she closes at 5.40105772, it's going to be lights out. I hate to say this thing. I've seen the probabilities of this happening many, many times. That's basically a dragonfly doji at the top of an uptrend. That's the most dangerous candlestick to ever play, and she will hit that $5 price point if she closes at 5.40105772 in about 9.5 minutes. But I'm going to keep switching to 15 minutes, half an hour. You're on Bittrex? Yeah, and I'm looking at the Bittrex chart as well too. That's a good question. Are you saying there is a Google Chrome extension that puts TradingView on Bittrex for you? That's actually pretty good to know. Even though I hate Google Chrome. I hate it. I really do. It's called Better Pitch Bittrex. Interesting. That is interesting. Oh yeah, dude. This is the battle. This is the battle that I always talk about between the bears and the bulls. They fight it out over price action. And I wish I can see what the order book looks like with trades that are being executed. But let's see how she's doing on that 1 hour candlestick. Okay, so that what was this? 8 minutes left. But yeah, that 5.40105772 is going to be a crucial level. If she closes at that level, there's trouble. There's trouble on the horizon. That's really when I would kind of see a massive green candle that engulfs, several hours worth of price action movement. This is why trading is stressful. Trading is not easy, guys. If anybody tells you trading is easy, it's not easy at all, especially if you're kind of doing what I'm doing now. And there's no way to be able to do this unless you have the time to sit there and kind of focus in on a specific price action movement and looking for a specific pattern to see how she closes at that pattern. Yeah, it can definitely drive you crazy. So on our 5 minutes, she failed to close at that 545. On the 15 minutes, she's failed to close at that 545. On the 30 minutes, we're still waiting for that 545. And on the 30 minutes, if she does close at 545, it could be somewhat bullish, somewhat to an extent, because that means that they're kind of holding the line a little bit. But the 1 hour chart, the 1 hour price action movement can't even talk, will really indicate how it's going to play out going forward. The 45 minutes hasn't closed yet. Yeah, there's no confirmed breakout. No confirmed breakout whatsoever at this current price action movement now. The bears are definitely somewhat in control at the current moment. And I think they will continue to be in control of this until she probably hits, that 505. And if the bears or if the bulls can't hold that 505, then 480 to 482 could be in sight. Did Bitfinex close out my account? That's a good question, man. I don't know. I think it was the 9th that they said they were going to completely stop U.S. traders from using their site. So I haven't logged on to Bitfinex, to be honest with you. I don't have any reason to. I took all my money out of there, before the rant, and I haven't even attempted to log in. I mean, I used to love Bitfinex. Honestly, man, I liked Bitfinex. I really did. And I mean, they did us dirty. They really did us dirty. And they did me dirty twice, really, by kind of forcing me to get out of my sand position when I had a 100% gainer. And it actually could have been a lot more than 100%, 150% gainer if they didn't really manipulate that price. So, I mean, I got out with a profit on that one, but still, the $3,000 profit that I could have had would have been a lot better than the $900 profit that I ended up taking on it. Is tomorrow the 9th? Yeah, so tomorrow is the 9th. I'm kind of off on my days, to be honest with you. Tomorrow is the 9th, so we'll see. Maybe I'll attempt to log in to see if they still give us access to it. So you just recently signed up, PK, and you didn't have to disclose where you're from. Well, the thing about Bitfinex too is your IP address. So every time I log in, it does indicate where I'm logging in from. I mean, I could work around the system. I have a VPN that I could use if need be. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I will, to be honest with you. It's all up in the air. I definitely don't want to give them the exposure on using them on my YouTube channel, even though I am, I do use their chart occasionally here and there when I'm accessing their own trading view, or at least their price action movement on a specific coin. All right, here we go. Let's see, 544.5. All right, the bears. I don't know if the bears are giving up on this. They might be. But this could be a fake out too. This could definitely be a nice little fake out to possibly get it to 545, but not give you a confirmed breakout on the 5-minute or possibly even the 15-minute chart. So that's why, I'll be honest with you guys. Looking at this on a single screen, it's not worth it. It's not. And that's why I have 4 monitors that I use and a laptop. So we'll just say 5 monitors. And if I'm really interested in trading a specific, token or coin or cryptocurrency, I will pull up that specific chart on all of my monitors and have different interval timeframes showing me exactly how it's handling that price action based on the time frame that I've set. So right now I'm just kind of clicking in and out at different intervals. But yeah, this is not the way to trade the way I'm looking at it now. So that 545 is going to be crucial. It is very crucial on any time frame to see if, oh no, I closed it out. All right, let me get back to it. Schnippity snap. And I don't think it's saved what I had on there. I don't think the chart wants to pull up. Oh, nice. Okay. I think I'm still good. So 545 is not holding. So this is not a confirmed breakout above that 545. So we could really see shorts possibly, if they have the ability to short this thing, possibly start shorting at 545. But yeah, so PK, kind of going back to Bitfinex, yeah, just every time you log in, keep an eye out on the top, because it will say what IP address you're logging in from, and plus they'll also send you an email just as a confirmation that somebody logged in from this IP address. So we might not get a Dragonfly Doji because really 19 seconds left, 18 seconds left until the actual candlestick closes on the 1 hour. All right, so it closed. Let's see how it opens. Opened up right at the candlestick's prior closing price. The closing price was $5 and 5.452, and it opened up at 5.447. So a little below it, but not too much. Now, if she would have gapped down and opened way below the prior candlestick's closing price, so the closing price prior candle 5.45, let's just say hypothetically she opened up at 540. Yeah, that would indicate to you, you know what, it's going to be a massive decline, especially if she gaps down in comparison to where she previously closed. Yeah, so Oni, in regards to Bitfinex, I don't even know what they would do if you had funds in there. I mean, would they allow you to log in just to be able to move funds out? Um, that would be shady if they just completely locked you out and say, yep, your funds are gone. You didn't get your money out by X amount of time. Let me log in on a different monitor to Bitfinex, see if there is even an announcement giving us, 24 hours to kind of get our money out if you do have money in that account. Yeah, I don't really see a nice upward trend on this. I mean, she could consolidate sideways, but the longer she consolidates sideways, the more likely that anybody that bought this thing earlier this morning, so today is the 8th, right? If anybody would have got in this, let's just say hypothetically they bought it at $5. At 550, 545, they're like, I just made 50 cents per coin, depending if they had a very sizable position. And I've talked about in the past, if you have a very sizable position and you're really scalping this thing, intraday trading this thing, your holding time should be very short with a very sizable position. Because if she downtrends and goes down 50 cents and you have 1,000 coins, I mean, you're down $500 instantly already. But if you have a very small position, you can afford to hold this a little longer. But that 545, it's not holding whatsoever. See, the high on this candlestick was 545. The high on this candlestick was 546. That's nothing. That's nothing for it at all. So on the 15 minutes, it's pretty ugly. So this is really when I would be patient and not chase something because the probability of it pulling down are very likely. And now, unless somebody comes in and fat fingers it, then, you could have a massive green candle breaking out above that high of $5.60. But yeah, the longer she stays in this position, the easier it is for somebody that bought at $5. I mean, and I'm just thinking the way I would be, I'm thinking the way that what I would react to. How would I react to this if I bought at $5? I would lock in the profit and say, you know what, I'm going to wait for that dip to $5 again or 505, and buy it back, just basically close to where I bought it in the past. So the only notification I see on Bitfinex is just basically what they put out today, saying that they're going to be undertaking infrastructure maintenance on November 9th, sometimes between 10 a.m. UTC time and 4:30 p.m. UCT time. These updates are critical for the platform and must be performed. Unfortunately, we cannot give an exact time for the maintenance other than those brand parameters. Customers should expect a service interruption of approximately 10 minutes while the maintenance is being performed. During the period, the trading might be unavailable. Let's say, okay, go to platform. And then I'm going to see if there's any other announcements that they would have put out. But this is shitty of them to not put out another announcement saying, hey, if you have funds, you need to get, if you're a US resident, you have funds, you need to get it out, by this time. So maybe that is the maintenance that they're doing to bar US residents from using their platform. But they should at least notify people that they need to get their funds out prior to that. And if they don't get their funds out, what's going to really happen? I mean, they can't keep the funds. Yeah, no other really new announcements except for the infrastructure announcement. But I would play it safe. Rocky Mountain, I would play it very safe and just get your funds out of there. Get your funds out. because the last thing you want is for them to lock you out, like Bittrex has locked out a bunch of people and they don't have access to the funds. So PK, you got 1,000 ETP. Man, I was looking at ETP a while back, but yeah, it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't hitting the price range that I was looking at. But then they barred us, and they screwed us. And I was like, all right, well, the hell with ETP on Bitfinex. And hopefully this live stream is still going. I don't see any other chats coming through. But yeah, this is not holding, guys. So if anybody's in Lisk, or at least looking to get an entry, I would wait for that support to hit. Yeah, and especially if she gets below the opening price. So the opening price of the prior candlestick was $5.40. If she gets below it and stays below that, and the next candle opens up, especially on the 1 hour, and it doesn't open up above that previous candle's closing price of 540, yeah, it's bearish. It's completely bearish. I mean, even though on here, I mean, the volume wasn't too bad. But as we can see on the 1 hour candlestick, the current candlestick, the volume is low. It is low. So nobody's panicked and sold yet, but nobody is buying it also. Nobody's supporting this thing. Yeah, Oni, that's the best thing to do, man. Wait for support. Wait for support. You know, your reward versus your risk is going to be a lot better if you wait for a nice support to hit. Now, it could easily crash through that 520 support. It could easily crash through it. Like I said, if selling intensifies. But that 505 is a good support, you know, for me to take a position in. So I wouldn't even buy it at 520. I would put an order in at 505, and don't put an order in, you know, with all the funds you have, just in case that it does decide to touch this prior resistance here, you know, the third area of resistance that it hit, because there's a possibility that that 480 could be a very crucial level. And that's where I would be looking to add more. So as this dipping, I mean, if you're into List, I'm not into List, but if you're into the fundamentals of it and it's solid, you believe in it, you know, getting your feet wet at 505 isn't bad. And then adding a little bit more than what you bought at 505 to add at 480. And if she crashes below that, you know, that 430 is going to be very crucial, and to buy back more than you did at 480, at 430, so that your cost average is actually going to be a lot lower. Bitfinex has no record of your account. Oh, that's crazy. And I'm assuming you've used them in the past, and I think you gave up on them when they put out that email a long time ago saying they were barring U.S. residents. Because I remember you talking to me on our Slack chat saying they're basically dead to you. So I mean, they couldn't have closed your account already. So yeah, you might be using the wrong email. But yeah, if you have funds in there and you're a U.S. resident, I would play it safe. I would play it safe until they retract that statement, and just get your funds out, just so it's not locked up. Especially if you have a good amount of coins on that exchange, it's not worth it to have it locked up. Like PK, I mean, you got 1,000 ETP. You know, at the current price, that's $3,000, over $3,000. So that's a lot of money to me to have locked up, and then trying to get a hold of their support, which is they're not going to ever respond to you at all. But all right, guys, it is 12:10, and I did say I was going to be getting off of this at 12 o'clock. You know, and I wish I can keep this going and going and going. But you know, Friday's live stream is going to be a little different, so I'll briefly talk about it now. I won't have a regular live stream at 10:30. Both of my kids actually have a dentist appointment that I got to take them to at 10:30, so there will not be a live stream in the morning. But what I'll do is try to get a live stream going in the evening on Friday. And it's going to be a little bit of a different of a live stream. You know, I want to be able to give you guys a platform to voice your opinion, voice your concerns, you know, talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. So, you know, we can just BS about cryptocurrency. And if you want to join the live stream, I'd be more than happy to have you on the live stream. I'll send you the link to the live stream so you could actually join me so that we could actually have a verbal conversation, you know, instead of you typing stuff out in the chat. But yeah, we'll talk about anything and everything in regards to cryptocurrency, you know, whether you want to rant, whether you want to, you know, talk about some good trades that you got into, you know, if you want to talk about some scams, if you want to talk about really whatever it is that you want to talk about, I will give you that opportunity on Friday to be able to do that. So it's going to be a little different than just me doing technical analysis, looking at charts, you know, where I'm basically almost like talking to myself. You know, we'll be able to have a verbal conversation. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. And I'd be happy to have you guys, you know, join the live stream and verbally communicate with me. But yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a different of a live stream where we'll just, you know, BS about cryptocurrency in general, whatever it might be. That's kind of a way for me to kind of get back to you guys where, you know, give you the platform to be able to voice your concern, voice your opinions, and whatever it might be. I know I had Darkness. I don't think you're on here today. But yeah, I had Darkness on the first chat and chill that I did. And I just kind of put it out and said, hey, does anybody want to join this live stream? And he was all about it. So if you do want to join the live stream, one thing I'll recommend is, you know, make sure you have a headset and make sure you mute or turn down the volume on the YouTube live stream, just so we don't get that back and forth echo. But make sure you have a headset because that's the only way you'll be able to hear me. I'll be able to hear you. And, you know, I'm going to have a headset as well too on just so we don't have that echo. But as long as you mute the actual live stream, you know, things will go very smooth. But yeah, look to having, you know, a bunch of you guys on and we'll keep the live stream going as long as the conversation is interesting. And, you know, maybe we'll get some people interested. Oni, maybe you'll be interested, buddy. Stay metal. Yeah, dude, stay metal. Actually, I was looking at metal the other day and I was like, man, this wouldn't be a bad long-term investment at all if they're able to really penetrate, you know, the cannabis market. But yeah, I was looking at that, but I haven't really done all my research about it yet. But yeah, you know, guys, thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. Thank you to anybody that has clicked on that subscribe button, that has, you know, given me a thumbs up, especially if you find this information helpful. If you're on the live stream and, you know, you haven't really spoken yet, you know, just say what's up on the chat. You know, I do my best to kind of respond to all the questions as best as I can. But yeah, don't be a stranger, you know, become a regular. Until next time, Friday, which we'll do a completely different topic. It's almost going to be like a chat and chill where we'll just BS about cryptocurrencies in general. So until Friday, I want you guys to have a blessed day. You know, nothing but the utmost respect. And thank you guys for joining. So take care, happy trading, and be careful and wait for that support to hit. Don't go chasing anything. All right, guys, take care. Thank you for joining.